Hey guys, what's up? My name's Chris. I'm your host. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. We're just grateful to have you here. Today, we're going to talk about a story that is going to shed some light on your network and how to audit your network, specifically as a small business owner and or entrepreneur. I'm going to give you some insight and things that I've learned over a decade and a half of being in business to really build a strong network of other small business owners and entrepreneurs and everybody working together to grow together. Before we get into it, as always, guys, smash that like button and drop a comment below on questions that you might have on networking or maybe your best tip on auditing your network or building your network. Hit subscribe and let's get into it. All right, guys, check it out. As many of you know, I've been doing business for a while now. And a big key to doing business, especially as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, maybe a subcontractor in some people's cases, or, even working for a company or within a company, the topic of networking is very, very important to understand. And it's very important to understand how to not only build your network, but audit your network. And when I say audit is sometimes you got to kick people out of your network. Sometimes you got to replace people in your network that are aligned to you, your purpose, your mission, and the value that you provide them fundamentally, okay? So I'm going to tell you a story, and then we're going to recap it at the end. And so recently, I reached out to a mortgage broker that's been in my network for probably about 5 years. And not only has that individual done mortgages for me in the past, refinances, new mortgages, investment properties, primary properties, but I've also referred probably about a dozen people to this person in the last couple of years, specifically, like a dozen customers. Like, think about that, guys. Think about that. If you had someone in your network that was referring you a dozen people over the course of 2 years, which is 6 new customers, which is a new customer every other month over the course of a couple of years, would you really take care of that person in your network? Because I know I would, right? I'm talking about going above and beyond for that type of person, but I don't expect the treatment that I give people in my network. However, I look for alignment and alignment with one another when it comes to networking. So fundamentally speaking, I reached out to this individual and I was like, hey, listen, it's 2022. The correction on the real estate market clearly is coming. We see interest rates going up. It's happening right now with the inflation and the CPI, guys. Let's talk about my position to pick up investment properties. And, so we start going back and forth and we have this conversation about my position and how things work and so on and so forth. And he says to me, hey, by the way, I wanted to thank you for the referral you just sent me. And I was like, oh, yeah, man, absolutely. Yeah. And I was like, how many has it been? About a dozen now over the past couple of years? And he says, yeah, something like that. And I was like, hey, man, listen, I would be honored if you sent me a referral for any of my 5 companies and anything that I do. I would be super grateful for just one referral. And his response was, oh, yeah, okay, going back to what we were discussing when it comes to your position. And he starts talking about my position and completely sidesteps my inquiry of, hey, you've never sent me a referral, and it would be awesome if you did send me a referral. Completely sidesteps it, which is called deflection. When you change the subject of something, it's like basic human psychology. And it's also very salesy. But you wouldn't know that unless you're at like a high level of sales and likely like an aware level of human psychology. And, being in business for such, I don't want to say a long time, but a good amount of time, about a decade and a half, you learn like fundamentals of sales, you learn high level sales, you learn fundamentals of psychology, and in my case, high levels of psychology. So I finished the conversation with this individual and have actually continued to speak to them. But I now know, just from that one conversation, that we are not aligned. Meaning, I'm feeding him referrals and I'm a good customer of his. However, when it comes to the reciprocation in the two-way street of networking and referrals, right? I know that it's just one-sided. And unfortunately, a one-sided relationship when you're a small business owner or an entrepreneur or a contractor, maybe like a real estate agent, you're a contractor for a brokerage, or an independent personal trainer, or whatever it might be. Let's say you're in sales at a pharmaceutical company and you're making a buku dollars right now, and someone keeps referring you customers, but you're not referring them customers, right? You got to think about these sorts of things, especially if you want more out of life, more out of business, and fundamentally build more relationships, because that's what really grows business, is building relationships. And it's okay to cut people out of your network and fill that position with someone who's aligned with what's good for you. So what's aligned and what's good for me is a relationship, which means both parties are giving 100% of the time. Guys, relationships aren't 50-50. Relationships are 100-100. That's a 100% giving from both sides. That's what's considered a harmonious relationship, which we've talked about in depth here. And that's what grows business, and that's what grows relationships. And fundamentally, that's what grows networks. And out of every term that I'm saying, really what it comes down to is you're building relationships with referrals, with your network, with people, with humans. And building relationships is such an overlooked aspect, specifically of marketing and sales, if you want to look at it under those lens of focuses. But if you just focus on building relationships and like helping people in your network, they're going to build the relationship with you and help you. Because when everybody is winning, so if you're in my network, you're either on your way to doing well or are doing very well. And when I only network with those types of people, right? We all network with each other and feed each other referrals and relationships and introductions and so on and so forth. And if your network is not at that point, this would be a really good time to really audit your network, no matter if you own a business or an entrepreneur or a contractor, or maybe you're that person that's just sitting back and receiving and not giving. This is the time to audit your network and audit your actions and look to improve your network by removing people that may not belong and adding people that do belong, in the terms that I like to use, with alignment. If you're aligned with each other, everybody is going to grow. And that's the point, guys. Growth together. If you audit your network and have the proper people in your network, everybody grows together. Okay, guys, that's what I got for you today when it comes to auditing your network, specifically building relationships and or building your network. I am interested in what you guys have to say. All right. If you want to drop a comment below on a question of how to audit your network further, or drop a comment below on something that you found that works really well for you when it comes to auditing your network, I would be super grateful to just have a conversation with everyone. We're building a community here. I answer every comment. We go back and forth and we talk. And there's plenty of people that have a difference of opinions that comment, and everyone keeps it really professional. And I respect that, guys. It's okay to have a difference of opinions, especially if you could talk it out. So I appreciate all your comments. I appreciate you smashing that like button. I big time appreciate you hitting subscribe. And if you want to support the show, check out and pick up a copy of my newest and first book, Dominate Your Day, a high performer's guide to winning at life. The feedback on this book after about 4 months of being out is pretty overwhelmingly positive. Changing people's lives is really what I'm hearing. And just that feedback from anyone has been one of the coolest things I've been able to experience over the course of my almost decade and a half as an entrepreneur. And that's what it's all about, guys. It's about the fulfillment. So if you're interested, you want to support the show because we don't run ads, check out my newest book, Dominate Your Day, a high performer's guide to winning at life. Link is in the show notes. I'll catch you guys next time.